Thanks for having me. Well, I think from what we are seeing at the moment, it definitely is absent from the Iranian, Israeli, American talk at the moment. So Palestine, what it seems to be is a different, completely different file for the time being. They're even arguing that they don't want to have Lebanon as part of this ceasefire. So you can imagine what Palestine would be. And Definitely, the sense that we're getting at the moment is that Palestine will not be part of the ceasefire or will not even be mentioned in the ceasefire, whether that was West Bank or Gaza. It depends. So it could actually create that space for to talk about a Palestinian state, a Palestinian resolution, if you like. But that depends really if the powers in the region, to be more specific, if some Arab countries start pushing towards this direction, and also if the international community holds Israel accountable for its action, then that would actually be will pave the way to talk about a proper ceasefire in Palestine, and also it will lead to a serious talk about Palestinian state. That only if Israel or if the international community holds Israel accountable for its action, for its violation to ceasefires. Remember, the genocide is still going on in Gaza even after the ceasefire. Israel violated the ceasefire more than 1,000 times, and there are more than 700 Palestinians have been killed after the ceasefire. Only yesterday, 2 people were killed in Gaza. As you can see, that to rely only on the faith of Israel to hold on for a ceasefire, it's not really a reliable thing to do. What can be reliable is to hold Israel accountable for its action, meaning that if Israel violates any ceasefire or any agreement, there must be consequences. Also, it's worth mentioning here that Israel also kept violating the ceasefire in Lebanon. They have attacked hundreds of times after the ceasefire, have killed hundreds of people and injured thousands of people after the ceasefire. So that is also worth remembering here. What I think Israel wants to create a powerless region where it can be able to fly over any country and attack as and when they wish. And that obviously is unacceptable. Even during ceasefire, Israel wants to have its hand unleashed on those countries. And I really think about like whether Israel wants to see that in Iran. So they might want to sign up to a ceasefire, but still want to fly over Iran and attack when and as they like. Would this thing happen? I don't know. I hope not. I think Iran might not allow this to happen, as they have their they have their defense and they have their army to retaliate. And we learned as Palestinians that Israel will never, ever, historically speaking, Israel never, ever lived up to their end of any agreement with their peace agreements or ceasefires, and never in history. Take it from Oslo Agreement, for example, between the Palestinians and Israelis in 1994, and that was meant to lead to a Palestinian state within 5 years. Immediately, Israel, after we signed the agreement, after Palestinians signed the agreement, they were expanding illegal settlements. And that was part of the agreement not to expand that. And that was actually the part of the agreement is to seize all activities in terms of expanding settlements. But Israel never lived up to their end of the agreement. And many other agreements, by the way, Camp David agreement, Israel never lived up to their end of the agreement. Israel will only live up to the end of the agreement if they were held accountable for their action, and if that was consequences for their violation. So far, we have not seen any consequences, for the Israelis' violation. And that, I think, if you like, that's what the Iranians are worried about, to see themselves being put in a position where Israel can violate a ceasefire, but they're not held accountable for that. Unfortunately, Gaza has been left alone now to face the most atrocious attacks. Remember, we are talking about a genocide here. We're talking about the crime of crimes. So what Israel has conducted in Gaza, what many genocide scholars and human rights believe it's a genocide, and Israel is carrying this in Gaza, carrying this form of exterminating Gaza, not necessarily by the same intensity as it was before the ceasefire, or the so-called ceasefire, but it is still going and kill people. And also they are not allowing the basic materials for people to rebuild their lives. So they're holding the building materials. They are also allowing a very little amount of food that is hardly enough for the people. It's almost like keeping them alive, just alive, not steps away from death. And that's what actually a proper definition of a genocide, that you are slowly killing the people, and you accelerate at some points when and as it's possible for you to accelerate the death of these people, you do that. So Gaza is left alone at this point of time, but I think it won't be for very long left alone, and I think now the narrative is changing around the world. The truth is being revealed. The mask dropped off now, and a lot of people know what Israel is and what Israel is about. Remember, Israel has violated more human rights resolutions than any country has ever existed in the world. So remember that. Remember also that Israel has never ever been held accountable for its action, and that's a good point to talk when they're actually talking about why the war is against Iran, because they don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapons. But what about Israel? Israel itself has a clear nuclear weapons, and that's very well known fact, but they never recognized that or denied that. But it is a lot of organizations and scholars suggest that they have nuclear weapons, and they are not part of the NPT, whereas Iran is part of the NPT, and they are not under the same rules and regulations and investigation, whereas Iran is. Yet we are actually attacking Iran for trying to have nuclear weapons, or what they claim Iran is trying to do. Whereas we know for sure that Israel has, but no one is holding Israel accountable for such a thing. So we can see the double standard here. And I think as long as we see Israel getting away with those things, we will never see peace in the world. We will never see peace in the Middle East. And that, as a result of this, it will reflect on the rest of the world. We will never see peace in the world. What my hope is that the countries of the region to get their acts together, because that's the hope, particularly the Muslim world, and specifically the Arab countries, that they get their acts together and hold Israel accountable for its action, and stop Israel from expanding in other parts of the countries, of the neighboring countries. Let's also not forget the fact that they expanded in Syria, and they also fly over Syria, attack as and when they want. So we can see that what the Israel's action here and what they are trying to do. So they have, in the last month, they have displaced more than 1 million people in South of Lebanon. And in the last 3 years, they have displaced nearly about 3.5 million people, 1 million in Lebanon, 2.3 million in Gaza, and about another 500,000 in the West Bank. So we can see what Israel has done. There's no one capable of doing such a thing accept Israel as it is, not held accountable for its action. And that's a call for the world to hold Israel accountable for its action. I think in the West Bank, there's even it's far more dangerous what's happening there, because it's taken slowly ethnically cleansing the Palestinians in the West Bank. And also the law that they have just passed, which is the death penalty, is death penalty only against Palestinians, but not against Israeli Jews, which is actually, by the way, that's something. The last people who have done such a thing were the Nazis, and now we're having the Israelis doing that. So that also part of the mechanism against the Palestinians, against ethnically cleansing the Palestinians, discriminating against them. There's an apartheid system in the West Bank. The law that is imposed on the Palestinians is different from the ones that imposed on the Jewish settlers. But also these Jewish terrorists in settlers in the West Bank, that they roaming the streets, heavily armed. They kill people, they kill the Palestinians without being asked and without being held accountable for their actions. They're in fact protected by the IDF. And they also, in fact, they burned Palestinians alive. They burned families alive there in the West Bank and terrorizing the people. Obviously, the Palestinians do not have the means to defend themselves in the West Bank, and their only way is to run for their lives, and that happens at daily basis. Settlers, Jewish settlers, walk into people's houses, claim ownership over them, uproot the olive trees, go around and terrorize people. In fact, sometimes they manage to completely empty neighborhoods entirely overnight, and these neighborhoods, the people of this neighborhood, never able to come back to them. They claim ownership over their houses, over their shops, over their cattle, over their businesses, over everything. And it's a robbery. It's even actually worse than a mafia type of attacks. The thing is about disarming Hezbollah would really rely on whether Lebanon is going to be protected against Israeli attacks, because essentially that is what Hezbollah was doing, is defending Lebanon from the Israeli attacks. Now, the question in my opinion, relies on whether Israel would stop attacking Lebanon, and whether Israel would pull out from the territories, the Lebanese territories that they have occupied, and then that might have an impact in a wider region, including Palestine. If Israel, which is the most likely event, doesn't pull out from the occupied the territories that they have occupied and stay attacking Lebanon, that also will have a big an impact on the region, because there will be again another thing another event to assure people, or to let people know that is only power that works with Israel. Nothing like agreements or ceasefires would work with Israel. So it actually will push the region more towards armed struggle and armed resistance. And eventually the problem is not really Hezbollah or Hamas or any of these groups. The problem, if we want to look at the roots of the issue, which is occupation, attacking other nations. Why do we have groups like Hamas and Hezbollah? Is to resist and defend their land. That is a legitimate right for people who are being occupied or attacked, is to self-defense. And Israel has never acted, in spite of the fact what we hear in the media all the time. Israel has never really purely acted in self-defense. You can't be acting in self-defense if you are occupying somebody else's land. That's not considered self-defense. If you are already in somebody else's land, then you're already the aggressor. You're already the aggressor. So if you were attacked at your home, that's something different. But then if you go in and attack people in their homes, and those people attack back, then they are self-defending themselves. You're not. And that's the logic. But obviously we're seeing that how Israel is, the Israeli narrative, and how Israel is framing all of this, particularly to the Western media, But as I mentioned earlier, the narrative is almost collapsing now, and people start to find out in what Israel is really, or the mask has fallen. So it's obviously what we are seeing in the region. I think it is not only affecting Iran and Palestine and Lebanon, the involved countries in that directly, but it is definitely affecting the Gulf states with their trades and their safety as well. So they're being regularly attacked by Iran into their soil, So that's impacting their businesses, their security, and that can actually create like a kind of a mass instability in the region. And that mass instability in the region will definitely push people to leave. And where people will go are most likely nearby countries, typical destinations also to Europe, but places which feel close to home, like Pakistan and those places that I think definitely they will have some floods of people fleeing wars and instability. But most importantly, we know for a fact that Israel was not going to stop after Iran. We know that as already Israel, for example, has been naming countries like Turkey. They have already said that very explicitly, that Turkey is going to be the next Iran. There is talks about in the Israeli media about Egypt and Saudi Arabia. So that Israel is so much interested in creating instability in the Muslim world. And the reason for that is to create what they believe is the greater Israel. And the only way to do that is to weaken the Muslim world so that they can never be able to defend. And so the people of the Muslim world are going to want to be the ones who are paying the price for such a thing. But not only to expand on the territories, but also to expand and controlling those countries economically and militarily speaking, because they want to be. Why are they so bothered about whether Iran has nuclear weapons, or whether even Egypt? They are questioning what type of weapons they have. They are against the deal that was going to happen. I think it was still going to happen, the military deal between the US and Turkey. Turkey was going to sign up for an F-35 fighters. Israel was so concerned and so against such a thing. Why? Because they want to be the only power, the most powerful army in the region, to have a control over people. And that is a very serious question that is facing the people of the region. Whether that was Turkey, Iran, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, all of these countries are faced with this extremely serious matter that they have to make to take really serious decisions in facing that threat. Right now, we are seeing some kind of collaboration between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, which is a great military collaboration. I really hope to see also Turkey, Egypt joining that, which we are hearing some talks about this.